Hi everybody. I want to show you how to make pinwheels doing your half square triangles with a different technique than we've used so far. This will make 4 half square triangles all at one time, which is a great time saver. There are lots of charts out there that show you how to figure out your measurements, and I'll share one of those with you in the email. I'll share the link. But I know for making the 3.5-inch half square triangles, we're going to cut 2 squares, each 5 3/4 inches. Let's switch cutting table so I can show you this technique. So what you want to do is cut out your 2 squares, put them right sides together. Again, it's 5 3/4, which gives you 3.5-inch half square triangles. And then what you're going to do is sew all the way around the perimeter of your square, making sure that you pivot at each corner right at 1/4 inch. And then when you get to the point where you started, just overstitch it slightly. Once you've done that, then you're going to cut it diagonally from corner to corner, lining it up with each of the pivot points on your seam allowances there. And then carefully turn it and line those points up. Make sure everything matches up well. And then cut your other diagonal. And just like that, you have 4 half square triangles. Now, the next step, of course, would be to press each one, and as usual, you press it toward the dark side. Now, here's something different that I figured out that works really well. When you're ready to make your pinwheel, lay it out with your points matching just like that. And then what I want you to do is only square up your inside seams here. That way, once they're sewn together, you'll have a little bit extra for squaring up the outside of the block. That works really well. Then the next step will be, once you have it all pressed and squared up, is putting your right sides together as usual. And here's another important point, is to always sew from the point, because you don't know that your edges are going to match up. And even if they do, it's always a good idea to sew from the center. That way you know it's always going to be right on. So you do both of those. Those should nest nicely because you've pressed your seams to the dark side on each of those. Then once you've done that, then you put them together and you sew your cross seam as usual. So 3 seams after that. So it's 1 around and 3 seams, and you have your pinwheel all ready to go. Then once it's together like this, with a nice everything meeting in the center very nicely, and it's all pressed and squared up, when you press it, make sure you do spin that center so it'll look like you have a tiny pinwheel right there in the center. That gives you a nice flat intersection. Otherwise, it's pretty bulky if you don't spin it. And there you have a half square triangle turned into pinwheels very easily. If you have any questions, give me a call, text me, email me, let me know. I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you will have watched this video and gotten your pinwheels all made for the block in the 15th. Okay, I can talk. The block for May, which is this block right here. And that's what yours should look like. We're not going to do it like the book, because she does different colors for each one of the squares, and that gets a little more tricky. I'm going to include in the directions cutting tape, cutting information on how to cut this for doing it with less variation. The other block I did, just to show you, is this one, and that comes out great with doing it that way. I really like it. So you can do, I'll do a video on how to do your flying geese next. And you can either turn your flying geese this way or this way to get a little bit different look. So this gives you more of a star shape, and this gives you more of that box shape. For the ones that are in the book, if you're really daring, it is pretty straightforward to do it, because if you want to do this one, I had to put the pinwheel back in it. If you want to do this one, you actually do 8 half square triangles. So when you do these, each one, there we go. Each one will match. So you do the 2 method here that gives you 2 half square triangles there, and do 8 of those, and that will give you the variation. It's a little bit different technique to do that. The other way she made it, which I did do for this one that I decided to do since I'm doing all these samples, is done like this, and that comes out really pretty too. And again, it's a little bit different method as far as your half square triangles there for your flying geese, which are not half square triangles. This is the flying geese. Your half square triangles are here. You wind up with an extra set doing this. So that gives you something you could use in another block. And that's all for this one. And I will be doing a flying geese one. And again, if you have any questions or whatever, let me know. And otherwise, I will see you on Monday. Have a great day. Bye-bye.